If you look at the internals of the market, they're just horrific. There's crashes all over the place. Now, the major averages are very close to an all-time high, like 1% of an all-time high. But let's just take a look at Cathie Wood's ARK Investing, the disruptor space. This is the exact kind of thing that I, treat like a pariah when the second derivative of growth and inflation are slowing or about to slow rapidly, which is what my predicate here is in 2022. I almost said 21 because now I'm talking to you now in December of 22, and I hate doing this because only God knows. Anytime you have the hubris and arrogance to think that you know everything, you will be humbled. But having said that, there are some educated guesses. The weathermen do it all the time. A lot of people are angry with them. I think they do a pretty good job. For some field that predicts the future, that's pretty much they do a pretty good, accurate job. So my predicate is, I'm talking to you now, December 2022, is that the shock was that the Fed killed the stock market in the first half of this year, 22, and they were not able to consummate on their 3 anticipated rate hikes. And they actually had to go back into a ZIRP policy and a QE mode. That would be my major risk of what would happen in 2022. But back to Cathie Wood for a second. When you are in an economy that's rapidly slowing, economic growth is slowing, and inflation, albeit very high, is still going to be on a rate of change basis decelerating, you want to avoid certain stocks, banks, cyclicals, high beta stocks, low earning stocks, high PE stocks, small cap stocks. And these are the kind of stocks that are in Cathie Wood's ARK Investing. Well, about a week ago, she has 45 stocks. 43 of the 45 were down 20% or more. 2 of them were down 80%. So, when you think about things like that, you say, well, wow, this is a very dangerous sector of the market to be in. I never want to be down 20% in my portfolio. And she's down 20% in 43 out of 45 stocks, according to CNBC's report. So you want to be set up for a more defensive structure.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
So think about consumer staples, utilities, bond and bond proxies. Why? Because inflation is peaking right now. I think we had the highest inflation print that we will see for this current cycle that was announced in November. Year over year, consumer price inflation 6.8%. Producer price inflation close to double digits. Done again. That is the peak rate of change in inflation. Didn't say inflation was peaking. I said in rate of change terms. So think of consumer price inflation going from 6.8% to maybe 4% in the first half of 2022. But is that enough? Think about this. If you have inflation, if I'm correct, and inflation contracts from 6.8% to 4% year over year inflation, that's 2 times faster than the Fed's own ridiculous 2% target. And if inflation's twice as high as the Fed's ridiculous target, it's untenable to believe that they can continue to keep interest rates at 0 and continue to print money and expand the base money supply, which, by the way, has increased by $4.8 trillion in the last 2 years.
What will happen in the fiscal cliff of the second quarter is combined with the Fed reducing the balance sheet with $1 trillion to stop inflation.
Okay, so the Fed is going to continue to, so it's the opposite of the Fed's put. We used to have a Fed put which said, well, the economy is going to improve, or we're going to keep printing money until it improves. So, I'm going to flood the Wall Street with money, which will help the stock market.
So don't worry if you're afraid the market's going to fall. Just go ahead and buy stocks. We got your back.
Just buy stocks. We're going to buy, we're going to underwrite corporate bonds, junk bonds. We're going to underwrite municipal bonds. We're going to underwrite all kinds of debt. We will never let the stock market fall. And we're going to keep doing that until the economy improves so much that it doesn't need our help. That was the Fed put. But now it's the opposite. I mean, either the economy is going to poop the bed and inflation is going to fall rapidly, which would only be a consequence, a derivative of the economy falling off a cliff, or the Fed's going to end QE and drain its balance sheet and tighten interest rates until it does. That's the opposite of a Fed put. And you'll never hear anybody admit to that, because if you're a wirehouse on Wall Street, I have a lot of, I've been in this business for 31 years. And I know I look like I haven't been there that long. Let me tell you something, Don, again. You can't go on TV if you're, JP Morgan and say, hey, we're in for a really difficult time. We have a fiscal cliff and a monetary cliff on top of, various COVID mutations, and we're going to have a rapid slowdown in the economy next year. So I'm recommending my retirement funds to raise 50% cash and to go short the market.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race. You're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Marco Stan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address, because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Marco Stan.